needs to just like standardize this industry more because it's very Wild West vibes. People just kind of make up stuff as they go along, and obviously it's a new industry, so that's what has happened with all industries, I suppose. But I think there needs to be some level of standardization, so everyone is treated more fairly. Because there's a lot of things that just really affect people that are from working class backgrounds because growing up working class, you're not really taught how to negotiate. You're not taught how to like read a contract. You wouldn't know what stuff like perpetuity means
Mm,
because you just don't. That's not something that's going to be in your environment.
yeah.
Um, so I think it's really important to start like putting out that knowledge and that information so people it's just a fairer space.
Well, welcome, honestly, Chloe. I've been so excited to speak to you. I've seen quite a lot of your interviews and just some of the panels that you and talks you've given, and you're like one of the first people I've come across that actually looks like they care about diversity because I hear it a lot. And we're going to get into it anyway, but thank you so much for
Yeah.
making time. For
No worries.
those for those who don't know you, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, of course. So I am Chloe Downs. I'm the founder and CEO of SHFT, which is an influencer talent management agency. We represent an incredible range of creators from like parenting, lifestyle to environmental activists, artists, all across the board. We turned 2 in April, and we're a team of 4. And that's it basically. We just manage creators pretty much.
Wow. A team of four for all the talent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we've got 13 talent at the moment,
Yeah.
which is like quite a small roster for a team of 4. Realistically, basically, something I found when I worked in the influencer marketing space before. So I used to work for other people doing talent management.
Yeah.
Um, and I was managing up to like 10, 11 people, like just myself, which is a lot to do. And it means that you can't really give your full attention to everyone because
Yeah.
obviously some people are always just going to be busier than others. So your attention kind of goes more to the people that have got that constant inbound than the people that maybe need a bit more attention and like proactive work. So what I made sure is that when I was kind of designing what shift would look like, I always said that nobody would ever have more than like 5 or 6 talent per person because I know that's a good number. And I think it's beneficial for everyone. I think from a team perspective, it means that you're not overwhelmed because I used to be stressed. And then from a talent perspective, it means that you actually get time and attention like on everyone. So yeah, team of 4 at the moment. We're currently signing like in the process of signing some more people. So really we can have 20 people max at the moment until we have to start hiring again.
Amazing. Well, congratulations and happy belated birthday for
Thank you.
turning two. And obviously, influencer marketing wasn't a huge thing when we were in school. So, what was the plan? So I know you said you wanted to be a dancer, but what was the plan after that?
So I had the whole dancing thing. I had like genuinely like a midlife crisis at 15 where I genuinely had like a full breakdown. It was wild. And I remember that was randomly that weekend my mum wasn't around. So my dad had to deal
Deal
with me
with
and
that.
me and my dad just aren't particularly emotional people. So me and him trying to have that conversation was a lot. But yeah, no, I just had a breakdown at 15 where I'd been training pretty much my whole life. I like dedicated my life since 6 years old to being in performing arts in some way. And then just decided I didn't want to do it. And then got really worried about the fact that I didn't know what I wanted to do because all my focus had been on that. Um, I was also someone I was very creative. So I did my dance and drama and stuff, but I was also very academic. So I was doing very well in like maths and science and school generally. Um, so yeah, I was just in a crossroads where I just didn't know what my next move was. I think I was in the process of trying to figure out what my options were at college and that kind of thing. Didn't know what I wanted to do. And I remember my mum sat me down and she bought this like massive university book that had like every university in the UK, every subject that you can study. She's one of those kind of people that just like researches everything.
Yeah.
So she was looking stuff up and she found event management and was like, this is quite a good like route to go into that uses your creative skills, but also your kind of like business mind and like I'm very organized, like organizational skills and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up going to uni, studying event management. I left uni and actually worked in event management, which I feel like is rare. Not a lot of people actually leave uni and do what they study.
100%. I didn't leave uni and do what I studied.
Yeah, no, I don't think I know anyone who did, minus maybe like finance people.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so I did event management for a year. I was working for a company that was doing like corporate events and basically traveling all around the world. So I was traveling all around the world just doing massive events wasn't really happy at the company I was at. It's a shame because I actually really liked my job, but I didn't really like the company I was working for. So it was just like, I need to leave. And I've never not worked since I was 16. I've had like back-to-back jobs since I was 16. So I was like, I need to find a job. I don't really know what I want to do now. Let me just find a job for now, and then I'll figure out what my plans are later.
Yeah.
So have you heard of Social Fixed?
No.
Really, really good platform. You should check it out. It's owned by Mercedes Benson, who's also a DJ.
Mm.
And it's basically like, I don't want to explain it wrong, but my understanding of it is that it's like a job platform for, I think it's mainly focused towards people of color, but basically to get into creative industries.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
so yeah, I don't know if I was already part of it, if I found it, but I was looking on this platform. It was a Facebook page at the time. I think it's more now. It's a website and all of that kind of stuff. We actually post our jobs on there now.
Oh,
But but yeah, so I saw this post saying we're looking for an influencer talent assistant. And I was like, sounds all right. I actually didn't follow any influencers at the time. The only two people I followed that didn't follow me back were Rihanna and The Rock. That was it. So
those are the influencers, yeah? That you
those are the
follow.
only those are the only people I followed that didn't follow me back. I had a few friends that were like kind of influencers. So
Yeah.
I was kind of aware of it, but in my head, influencers were very much like Love Island people and like reality star people. And I just wasn't really ever into that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was just like, might as well just do that for now. I'll figure out what I want to do next. Interviewed, got the job. I blagged my interview hard because obviously they were asking about influencers, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So blagged my interview hard, got the job, started, and then like very quickly realized I was good at it and I actually enjoyed it. So yeah, I was like, all right, might as well carry on with this for a while. Got promoted very quickly. I then got poached by another agency after a year and then got promoted again. And then was working for other people for 2 years. And then I realized that actually I just want to do it myself because I just wasn't aligned with how other people are running their businesses basically. And I thought I can do this myself. And if I don't do it well, I had like enough job offers from other agencies that I knew that I could fall back on something if I really needed to.
I love that. I love that. What were the main things that you didn't align with?
So I think going back off your point of like diversity. So in my first agency, this was back in the day where there just wasn't really a lot of diversity in the influencer space at all. So you're pretty much only seeing like white creators on campaigns. You were seeing like the odd token person here and there, but it was like very much the same faces in terms of like people of color. So that was my frustration at that agency. And I kept on saying to them, why are we not signing more people of color? We had one person that was like one person of color on our roster
Mm.
and only one working class person as well. So everyone else was middle class and white. And I was just like, this isn't reflective of what I know of London at all. Like we're based in London. I don't really understand why we're just representing middle class white people because I definitely didn't grow up around that.
Yeah.
So I kept on pushing, but obviously I was kind of too junior for anyone to properly listen to me. I then went to my second agency and then I felt like then I started seeing that diversity was becoming more of a conversation. However, I think it was in the wrong way. So it felt very tick boxy to me where people were signing people just because they were black or just because they were disabled or just because they were LGBTQ plus whatever, rather
Token.
than do you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like just ticking boxes rather
Yeah.
than like cool, like these are amazing creators. They happen to be black or they happen to be whatever. So it just felt very tokenistic and very tick boxy to me. And then also when you started looking behind the scenes, you'd see these agencies that looked very diverse from like a roster talent perspective, and you'd look behind the scenes and it was a fully white team. Or if
Mm.
there were any people of color, they definitely weren't in any senior positions. And I definitely found that at my last agency where I definitely should have been promoted and I definitely should have been in a higher position because the senior management team were always coming to me asking me questions, going past my manager to come and talk to me about it. And I'm
Mm.
like, surely if you're asking me these questions, then I should be at the table with you guys rather than sitting over there and then you can come and pick my brain when you want to for like no extra money. So that was kind of my frustration. And I was also at that company during the Black Lives Matter resurgence. And I think I'll be real, I think that was my breaking point where I had every single person from the management team come to me separately. Like they clearly hadn't spoken to each other, all came to me separately asking me what they should do and like what we should post or like how we should change our strategy, blah, 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 because of this resurgence. And I was like, this is crazy that you don't like, you clearly see my value, but none of you want to promote me. And when I handed in my notice, it was clear because they offered me the world, but
Did
it was
they?
yeah, yeah, which is I think is always a shame because you had that to give me, but for some reason you chose not to until I told you I was going.
Mm.
So so yeah, so I left and then waited 6 months because that was my non-compete, and then I started I launched Shift the day after my 6-month non-compete finished.
Midnight.
Literally the day after, I was like, I made sure to check the numbers just in case, but I was like, "This is the day I'm launching." But yeah, launched the day after my 6-month non-compete finished.
That's
That's it, and
amazing.
then been shifting ever since.
How did that feel when you launched your own company?
It was scary, I can't lie, like, I think it was, like, such a big build up, and then you're like, "Cool, it's out there now." I don't know, like, we'll see what happens, and it's just the unknowing of it all, and as
Mm,
I say, I'm a very organized, structured, like, person, so not knowing what's coming next is quite a scary thing to me, but no, it was cool, the reception was really good, luckily for me, I'd built up enough of a reputation in the industry where I knew a lot of people, a lot of influencers follow me, a lot of people in the industry followed me, like, when I announced it on Instagram.
yeah.
And, like, we had some strong people in our like, in the starting roster because of the fact that I had already been working in the industry. So I kinda backed myself in the fact that, like, I knew I had the contacts and the knowledge. And I think I'd already waited, like, people had told me to, um, do my own agency from ages before that, but I knew I wasn't ready. I knew I needed more knowledge and more contacts before I did it. So I felt like I was in a good place, like, time-wise when I did it. So I wasn't too scared, but I think launching anything is scary.
Yeah. But you obviously really believed in you love what you do as well. And I think what I mentioned earlier, it's so rare for me to come across certain companies and platforms and they're like diversity, diversity. And it's very performative, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, for example, I am not an influencer in any way, shape, or form. But I'm not going to name this company. They reached out to
Yeah.
me. And so I create content and it was Ramadan. So it was around the time that Muslims were fasting. And
Brands
they
do not know what to do at that time of year.
oh my god, Chloe, it was so embarrassing. Like when I was cringing so hard. So basically,
Yeah.
they were like, "We want to collaborate with you to showcase some of our products, blah, 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 blah." This is when there's like 7 days left of Ramadan. Bearing in
Okay.
mind, people prep for Ramadan like 2 weeks in advance. The house is stocked. You've got like functions every other night. People are coming over. So for you to first of all try and launch a campaign 7 days to
It's mad, yeah.
and in the hamper thing they wanted to offer was purely South Asian ingredients.
Uh-huh.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I'm Arab. So why are you asking me to create content
you know,
with this when we don't use this?
it was very much like they're all the same, so we'll
Literally,
give everyone the same thing. Do you know
honestly.
what though? Like, I think for Muslim creators in particular, I just think no one knows what they're doing. Like, there's been brands that have launched, like Eid collections or whatever collections is like half naked. What's going on? Or like, I remember I saw there was a hamper one time and they knew that there was Muslim women in the audience and there was alcohol in like all of the hampers. And
Right.
you don't know your audience at all. But I think this is the issue. Like, the industry is so undiverse that the people sitting at the table making those decisions, I promise you, there's not a Muslim person on that table in, like,
I believe you.
eating to it. And I think that's why you see so many like brands just completely go wrong when it comes to these kinds of things, whether it's just targeting Muslim people or black people or disabled people or LGBT, whatever. If you haven't got someone sitting at the table that's part of that community, then don't bother trying to target them.
Yeah,
And if you don't have someone in the community and you can't hire you for whatever reason you can't hire people or you don't have the capacity or whatever, then you should be outsourcing to agencies that specialize in that audience.
exactly.
If these people don't know what they're doing. But in terms of the diversity focus at Shift, we actually don't mention diversity at all on our website. So,
Okay.
and the reason being is because you shouldn't have to. I think as you were saying, like, there's so much there's so many performative companies that
Mhm.
you see diversity on the top of their thing on the like literally every second word is diversity. But actually when you look behind the scenes, their whole management team is white.
Yeah,
I mean, like, the only people of color they have are like at the junior level. Um, so yeah, like, we just don't mention it because I don't think you should. You should just be innately diverse and inclusive. You
yeah,
shouldn't you shouldn't even have to strive to be it because you should just be it. Like, even in our hiring structure, I made sure because I could see that the space was very white and middle class. I think there was a study done in like I can't remember if it was 2020 or end of 2019, but it was said only 12% of marketers are not white. So that's everyone else. That's black, Asian, mixed race, everything is 12%. And then it was a similar split with working class and middle class, where I think it was about like 20% working class, about 80% middle class within the
Wow.
marketing. And the reason being is because there's so many barriers to entry to get into this space. So to get a junior level role, you need to have like 3 years experience, and you can't get experience unless you have experience. And then it's just a vicious cycle. But
Yeah.
if you don't have some like uncle or some, your mum's mate or whatever that works in marketing and can give you a internship. And then even then, if you're a working class person, you can't do an unpaid internship because your parents potentially can't afford to be
Exactly.
on the bus or the train to go to work every day, pay for your lunch every day, all of that kind of thing. So like all of these like unpaid internship stuff is very much geared towards the middle class and people that have got more money. So yeah, I just wanted to like strip all of that away. So we don't ask for any experience. We don't ask for any like degree because again, that's a very middle class thing generally. We don't ask for any of that. I'm not doing
No,
this.
do your thing, don't worry.
Um, so yeah, so we don't ask for any of that because I want to make sure that there's no barriers to entry and we can just have the best talent coming and working for us. And by doing so, we've got people who probably wouldn't have got jobs in the marketing space if that wasn't the case. And they're really sick at their job because we just looked at um what's the word, like transferable skills rather than experience. And also it's easier for me because I don't have to untrain bad habits from
Right.
other agencies because some of these agencies are moving mad. So, you know.
Can you give me an example of something that's like you can't believe actually?
Oh, honestly, like I think so. A lot of our talent have left other agencies and come to us. And
Oh,
when they tell me some of the stories of what's happening, it's crazy to me. Like, one of my talents said that his old manager didn't even follow him. Like, how do you manage? How do you do the job for someone if you don't follow them? That doesn't make
what?
any sense to me. Didn't follow him. I've heard a lot of stories recently about agencies, like not telling the truth about rates. So, for example, I tell a brand that my talent's rate is £1,000, but I tell my talent that we signed off £500, and then I keep that extra £500 that they don't know about. Why you would do that? I don't know. Like, there's just so many weird ways of working in this industry that, yeah, I don't really want to take someone from another agency and have to say, yeah, we don't do that here. Like, we tell the
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah, that's insane as well because people always find out as well. Like, how long do you think that's gonna run for? And then you get a bad reputation. What's the point?
I completely agree. Like getting an extra however many £100 here and there, like surely just do a better job for your talent. They'll stick around for longer. They'll have a more successful career, and then you'll make more money from them long term anyway. And actually be friends and be cool people.
This
Yeah,
industry's scary, Chloe.
it
It
is. It
is actually
really
scary.
it's interesting. So I was having a conversation yesterday actually with a girl from an agency about how we need to just like standardize this industry more because it's very Wild West vibes. People just kind of make up stuff as they go along, and obviously it's a new industry, so that's what has happened with all industries, I suppose. But I think there needs to be some level of standardization, so everyone is treated more fairly. Because there's a lot of things that just really affect people that are from working class backgrounds because growing up working class, you're not really taught how to negotiate. You're not taught how to like read a contract. You wouldn't know what stuff like perpetuity means
Mm,
because you just don't that's not something that's gonna be in your environment.
yeah.
Um, so I think it's really important to start, like, putting out that knowledge and that information so people it's just a fairer space overall. But yeah, standardization I think is key. I'm hoping it's coming in the next couple of years.
Yeah, probably. The government gonna need to find a new way to squeeze us anyway. So I'm sure
Yeah.
it's What is the biggest challenge you faced since launching Shift?
Um I'll be real, we haven't faced too many challenges, which is great. Like we've been
Amazing.
successful from the start, which I'm very happy about. But I think again, that's because I waited. I didn't rush into starting this agency. Like I knew what I needed to have before and I
Mm,
waited to have that. Um I think one of the biggest challenges is probably what's the word? Like not sticking with our values, but like when I started the agency, in my head I knew what our values were. But I think in the first few months, not all of our talent aligned with those values that we wanted to have. So it then meant that we had to drop talent kind of within that first year period because we knew what we were trying to do. And actually, some people didn't sit with that, which wasn't a great experience because obviously I didn't think about that when I was signing people. And then you have to then let people go later on. So
yeah.
I think that was kind of just really making sure that we were sticking to our values. Because again, I've worked for agencies that say they stand for all of this stuff, and then you look at some of the talent and you're like, well, this person doesn't. I'm sure they're making you a lot of money, but that person doesn't stick to what you're trying to say. So that's probably been like one of the things for me, just making sure that we've like as a team, as an agency, we know what our values are and we make sure we're sticking to them all the time. Um, and I feel like now because of that and because we've got that clear vision, like all of our signings subsequently have been very much aligned with what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Um, I also think a challenge that I'm thinking about that's going to be a challenge in the future is hiring because, as I said, at the moment I'm hiring in a place where I'm only hiring junior roles and I'm saying, no experience, blah, blah, blah. But as we grow, I'm going to have to start hiring people that do have experience and can come in at a more senior level, which I'm a bit scared about, to be honest, because I know from experience when I've worked at companies, agencies, whatever, when people come in above you, it never feels great because you're like, I've been here for a while. Like, why was I not moved up into that position rather than
Right.
this random person coming in? So I'm
Right.
going to avoid doing that. Like, if there's someone who I can promote, I will always promote before I like hire externally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'm thinking about and like trying to figure out how I'm gonna combat it when it comes to the time. But for now, I'm gonna carry on hiring like junior people because I want to get more talent into this industry that maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to work here. But yeah, those are probably the main challenges.
That's honestly so wonderful that you hire with that perspective, because I know so many people that really want to get into this industry, and as you said, no one gives them a shot.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I think when I think about like so many of my friends I went to school with who didn't get good grades, who like probably like who genuinely weren't very good at like writing CVs and all of those kinds of things, who probably didn't get jobs that they should have got, but they would have been way better than a bunch of people that the company would have hired just because they didn't have those like skills in the bank to be able to know how to get that job, whether that's like interviewing skills, CV, whatever. So I think because I've grown up like that, and I knew that I was definitely at an advantage because my parents helped me a lot in terms of like writing CVs. They knew what they were doing. They were good with
Yeah.
money, all of that kind of stuff. I think I was at an advantage, and I try my best to give people opportunities where like I know my friends back in the day wouldn't have got those opportunities, or I potentially wouldn't have got that opportunity. And I also just know, I think growing up working class, you just know that like stuff that you write on paper actually doesn't show how smart you are. Some of the dumbest people I've ever met was at uni. Like the dumbest people I've ever met were all at university. Do you know what I mean? But they all got there.
Honestly, my course, I look around, I'm like, how are we all in the same room?
Do you know what I mean? Like just no street smarts at all, just no common knowledge. So I think that's the thing. Like I'd really rather someone that just had common sense than had a degree because common sense will get you a lot further in life than have I ever used my degree in my life? No.
Yeah.
So I'd rather common sense. But yeah, I think more people need to start hiring if obviously depending on the sector. Some sectors you do actually need specific
Yeah, of
qualification.
course.
Marketing, you really do not need a degree to do marketing at all. Like you learn the majority of stuff you learn on the job, in my opinion. I don't think a degree is actually that necessary.
A lot of people will agree with you. Another thing you do, which I think is really cool, you can tell me if other agencies do this, but you
Uh,
host events and workshops as well to help your creators.
yeah.
How did that come about? And is that like a regular thing?
Yeah, I'll be real. I don't know if other agencies do it.
Okay.
I tried to implement it in the agencies I worked for, so hopefully they carried on after I left. But we do two things. So we try our best to host like workshops for our talent that we manage because we everyone we manage is like exclusively managed by us, so it's our roster. Like it doesn't change. So we do workshops for them. So we like bring in Instagram, YouTube, all of the Pinterest, all of those kinds of people to for basically them to learn how to use these platforms. Um, we're really transparent with our talent about like understanding contracts because as much as we're the people doing the contracts, it's really important for me that they understand what we're signing off all the time.
Mhm.
I think what we've also tried to do is basically we're in the process of like putting together workshops for the wider talent community and influencer community because of the fact that people don't know how to read a contract. And because they don't know how to read a contract, they're getting properly mugged off basically by all of these huge brands that have a whole team of lawyers who know what they're doing. So I want to put together some workshops to basically do that. Like I've done a few workshops where people have brought me in to do it, but I want us to shift to put some on. We put out a lot of information on our TikTok as well, where we like break down what terms mean or how to do this or whatever. So yeah, that's really important to us. It's to be honest, I think it's just a passion of me and my team that the influencer space is a fairer space. And like we don't need to profit from that in terms of like I will happily tell an influencer that we don't manage that's going to go and be managed by someone else. Because I'd rather you just know what you're doing. Because then if you know what you're doing, then these brands and agencies can't take the piss anymore because, oh, can I swear? Sorry. Take the
Of course
mick.
you can swear. No, 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 you can swear. You're fine.
I think I've actually gone this whole thing about swearing, which is rare. But yeah, they can't take the piss anymore because you actually have that, like, knowledge is power, and like unfortunately that knowledge is harbored by a certain group. And actually, if we pass that knowledge around to everyone, then it's just going to be a fairer space. So that's kind of why that's like our motivation for doing those kinds of things. And yeah, as I say, now that we're like the junior members of the team are like now able to kind of work without me helping them too much and they can get on with stuff by themselves, it means that we've all got a bit more capacity to hopefully put those events on. So I'm hoping our first one's going to be our first like external workshop will be later this year. And then hopefully it's something that we'll do regularly after that.
Yeah, and please let us know when you launch it as well. We'd love
Yes,
to like
please.
share it and talk about it. I'm gonna break my professional mode for 1 second. So the professional in me is like, oh my god, like this is amazing. But the
Yeah.
human in me, I'm like, you are like the sweetest person
Thank
I've
you.
ever met in my life. Like you're actually being so conscious about every single thing. You know, usually people are just like money, money, money. Okay,
Yeah.
for our USP because we know diversity or we know how to research, we know how
Yeah.
to allocate the talent. But you're actually hella cute, Chloe. Like you're
Thank
so
you.
sweet.
It's so I don't think I've ever been described as sweet in my life.
I don't know what you're like in the professional in the space. I'm sure that you will go for it if you need to, and I have no doubt that you're as sassy as it can get when you need to
Yeah.
be. I'm just talking from a perspective of like this industry don't give a shit about anyone. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like even
Nice fact.
they don't, and I know they don't, and it's fine. I feel like it's a dog eat dog world anyway, but it's just like I just really feel like you really care about what you're doing, and you actually genuinely like have a purpose, and I love that. It's so rare to
Thank
see now.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But I think the thing is, I think if you focus on, and this is a genuine focus for us. Like I want my team to be happy. I want my talent to be happy. If you work in that way, you will be more profitable anyway, because people do better work when they're happy. So like whether you're doing it for the good or the bad reasons, like I genuinely want my team to be happy. But even if you're just trying to make more money, make your team happy and you'll make more money because they'll actually enjoy coming into work every day. They're going to take less sick days because trust, I was calling in sick all the time at old jobs because I just didn't want to go in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was fine. I was just fine, but I just didn't want to go in because I hated it there. So you're gonna take less. My team just don't really take sick days, even when they do have like, even when they are unwell, they genuinely like to like check in and like do stuff. People will message on the group chat like on the weekends, just bantering and all of that kind of stuff, and like people genuinely enjoy coming into work. And yeah, so they do a better job. I also think like you're less likely to be like annoyed if you have to stay a little bit later or if you have to do something on the weekend or whatever, which I try to avoid, but obviously if things come up.
Yeah,
So yeah, it just makes more sense. And then in terms of talent, again, if you focus on your talents like long-term career and mental health and just like making sure that they're going to be successful rather than them making crazy money, again, they're going to be more successful in the long run and they're going to make more money in the long run because if you just focus on profits, you're then going to sign off a bunch of stupid deals just because it's a good bit of money. They'll have a good career for like a year and then they'll drop off after that because they've just signed off stupid deals that just aren't aligned with their long-term vision, or you've done 10 back-to-back ads that are all about your favorite shampoo or whatever.
yeah,
You know, you're going to lose that trust in your audience. So I think just generally, I think more business people need to think about happiness more so than profits because then they will be more successful. Like we're a very successful business because we don't weirdly because we don't focus on the profits and the money,
yeah.
basically. But yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you for your kind words.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What is the future of Shift, or what do you envision Shift is going to be like in the next few years?
Yeah, so I don't ever want us to be some huge agency. Like I
Mhm.
want us to like keep that like boutique nature because I think that's one of our strengths, that we're small and we care about our talent and everyone knows everyone and like we all the team know what's going on with everyone else. Obviously we need to grow, but like I'm not trying to be some massive agency.
Mm,
So yeah, so I want to carry on growing. I want to carry on getting more people what like into the space in terms of staff that are like talent that maybe wouldn't have got that opportunity in the future in the past.
yeah,
That's important to me. But yeah, just to be honest, we've been doing really well. So I think just genuinely just continuing on the trajectory that we're already on. Um, Yeah, well, I think our values are clear now. So just focusing on those values. I think something I'm really excited about is like stepping back from the talent management and just managing the people that are managing the talent. It's been really fun to watch our team grow from people who don't understand any of the terms that I'm saying to now like saying those terms back to me, and just like it's really cool when we're in team meetings where I'm looking at the team and I'm like, 6 months ago you didn't know what the hell I was talking about, and now you're the one who's like talking to me about this stuff and you're coming up with ideas and whatever. So I think that's been a very like exciting and like fun thing to do, just actually develop my team. And I think that's something that I'm very excited for as a person. And from a business perspective, we're also trying to steer more into like we call it the offline space, but basically like podcasts, books, products, anything that's like outside of like a social media campaign. So that's
Nice.
something we're focusing on. There's a few projects going on, but where they're longer term projects, like they probably won't be out until like later this year, next year. So I'm excited for those things to start coming out. But yeah, just doing what we're doing, basically.
You're obviously smashing it, honestly. So yeah, I guess it's hard to like pinpoint exactly how you're going to change because you're just going to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the thing is, I think I'm also someone who like I don't really like having like five-year plans, 10-year plans, whatever, because I think the world is so ever changing and life is just ever changing. That like I know myself, when I say I'm gonna do something, it's already done. Like I'm always gonna do something that I say I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So I try not to say certain things because I'm like, if I say it, then I know I'm gonna have to do it, and maybe it's not gonna be the best decision in 2 years' time. So I like try to not take each day as it comes. Like obviously I have long-term goals, but like I try to be flexible and like malleable to just stuff going on around us, especially in social media. Like we had threads come out
I was just
2
going to say,
I mean, like a new thing will pop up all the to be fair, we knew about threads before because we work closely with Instagram, so we knew it was coming. But like still these things pop up all the time. TikTok nearly got shut down in the UK. So like you know
yeah.
what I mean? You never know what's gonna happen. So you might as well just try to go with it and like be ready to like pivot at any point because anything can happen in this world.
My last question for you, Chloe. I know I've run over a little bit, but
And
I have to ask this. What advice would you give to anyone listening to this right now and feeling really inspired or is in a similar position to you and is scared to take the leap? What would you say to them?
ooh, I think I think a lot of people glamorize being a business owner, and I don't think it's for everyone. I think everyone said, "Oh, you should be an entrepreneur," but actually, I don't think it's for everyone. And I think it's really important to like really figure out your skills as a human, your like skills as a professional, and figure out what is the best place for you. Does it make sense for you to make a jump? And like, if you know that you're gonna be a sick business owner, because I'll be real, like I was from school, people were telling me I need to work for myself because I don't listen to anyone. So it was gonna happen sooner or later. Like do you know you're going to be a sick business owner because you've got the skills needed? Because it's not all fun and games, and I think that's what people think. Like they see, oh, you can do what you want. You can't. Do you know when you work for yourself, there's a lot more risk involved because you potentially might not get paid 1 month, or you're going to get paid less or more or whatever. Especially in the first few years when it's just not stable. Like, are you going to be a business owner, or does it make more sense for you to just grow and like find an incredible company to work for and grow there and like really put your mark on that company? I don't think there's any shame in working for someone else and doing a really good job as long as you're working for the right person and a good boss that's not going to take the piss out of you. So I think really assess your skills. So I do think sometimes people take the jump without really thinking the next steps through.
Yeah.
But I think if you feel like you're ready, I think just go. I always say to my talent when they're like, "Oh, I want to start this project, but I don't know." I'm like, the first thing you can do is start. Like, you have to start. If once you start, then everything else will come after that. But you need to take that step and start because if not, you're just sitting around talking about it all day, and there's no point. So I think if you think you're ready and you're in the right space, it sounds like the most simple piece of advice, but just start. Basically, like go. That was me pressing a button in case you didn't realize.
Love that. Maybe we can put a sound in or something to
Yeah.
Chloe, thank you so much. Honestly, like I've enjoyed speaking to you so
Oh,
much.
same.
It's been so lovely to meet you. Where can people find you?
Oh, so I don't give out my personal Instagram because
I meant Shift, okay?
no, do you know what? So many agencies, like when I'm doing talks, people put my personal Instagram. I'm like, I didn't tell you to do that. Stop it. So I'm like, don't really want people to find me. No, so Shift is on all socials at WESHFT across Instagram, Threads now. We jumped on Threads yesterday. My team did a very good first thread. Threads, TikTok. We're on YouTube as well. We've got like a really good series of videos just breaking down contracts basically on YouTube. I think we're just Shift in YouTube, but you can search it. It's all linked on our Instagram, like link tree bio thingy. But yeah, we Shift on everything. Yeah, that's us.
Amazing. Chloe, thank you so much for all the nuggets of wisdom you dropped. And I wish you the best with Shift. I'm sure you're going to keep smashing it. And thank you for restoring my faith in influencer marketing.
No worries at all. No, I really appreciate it. It's been a really good conversation. I'm
Oh,
excited. Yeah, excited
and
to see what happens.
yeah, and please do let me know when you guys launch your external workshop.
Yeah, I will.
I think that sounds
Definitely.
so many
Yeah,
people
yeah,
would benefit from that as well.
definitely. Yeah, we're working on it now. So hopefully in the next couple months. But yeah, I'll keep you posted and let you know. But yeah, we'll post it on on like our socials as well. So people following will know what's going on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you guys a follow. And thank you so much. Honestly, I genuinely really enjoyed speaking with you today.
Yeah. No, same. Thank you so much. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care, Chloe. Bye.